Hello. Okay, let me get this all properly adjusted. Whoopsie. Okay. Okay. Hello, I'm Aidan Swan, and I'm a wildlife artist. So today we are starting a new artwork with a bit of a personal story and a little bit unusual. So here we have my toad. Now, here we have my reference for said toad. The lettering will be there, but it's going to be altered. And the toad is not going to be in any way natural. I'm going to do him in some ridiculous bright colours because he is poisonous after all. Or she. This toad is a she. Yes, so the reason for me doing this artwork is to work off a little bit of rage, because I need to work off some rage. Yeah. So let me try and get that to stay there. There we go. That's all good. And before I start my story, I have some ice water here because it is still unfathomably hot in Cape Town. That's good. Which I suppose you could say, yes, it's summer. And yes, it is summer, but that doesn't make it okay. I'm not okay with this. So, story behind the toad. About nearly 3 weeks ago now, I got a phone call from my sister, with whom I'm not particularly on speaking terms. We have nothing in common, and she is a very unpleasant piece of human flesh. So I get a phone call from her saying that our father has had an accident, he's on his way to the hospital, and there starts the drama. So she loves drama. I'm sorry, I have to clean my glasses because I can see absolutely nothing. And she is also particularly unhinged at the best of times. So every time, obviously I'm not going to Pretoria, it's on the other side of the country, and as I said, she loves drama, and there is little that she does that is as important or extreme as she likes to make it out to be. So I said, please keep me posted. Over the next couple of days, every single thing I heard from her got more and more unhinged, and the injuries kept changing and kept getting more extreme. So at one point it was that, he has broken leg, broken hip, broken ribs, broken wrist, and there's something wrong with his lungs. There's always been something wrong with his lungs. He has a hernia, so that I didn't particularly worry about. And she refuses to tell me which hospital he's in or who his doctor is. Over the next couple of days, this just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, with her just making shit up and changing the story every time I speak to her. And eventually I lose the plot with her and tell her to just give me some accurate bloody information. She then completely flips into like feral mode and tells me that I don't know who I think I am, but that I can do everything that I want to do, but I need to grow up and do as I'm told. For context, I'm 47. I moved out of home when I was 17, almost 18, and I have never moved back. I'm the one who must grow up and do as they're told. She is 42, has never moved out of home, lives with my father, and has a weird codependent relationship with him, in which he also pays for everything. She's never really worked. Never had a boyfriend or a girlfriend, never done anything with her life. So I, of course, laugh at this, and she starts getting very abusive on the phone, and various other things are brought up, such as the fact that I cut my mother off when I was 19, and she insists that I must get over myself and bring my mother back into my life. So I told her that I cut my mother off because my mother sided with my rapist, and if she's okay with that, she's just to never speak to me again, and then put the phone down on her. I was immediately blocked on WhatsApp. I have long since removed her from all of my social media, so yeah, it's blocked on WhatsApp, and that told me everything that I need to know. I then spent the next half a day phoning all the hospitals in Pretoria to find my father. Found him eventually at a very good hospital with apparently the best surgeon in the country, which is awesome, and found out that his injuries are not nearly as bad as what she'd made out, of course. He has a broken femur and a mildly fractured wrist, but the rest is all in her head, except that he also has TB. Now, he works all over predominantly Central Africa, and he could have picked TB up anywhere over the last 6 months or a year. He had said that his lungs had been shitty, but he had ignored it because that is what he does. I come from a family of stoics. If you're ill or you're sick, you ignore it until it goes away or you die. So that is what he's like. He just happily ignored TB. If he hadn't have broken his leg, he would have died because he would have ignored TB to death. So it is happy accidents, as Mr. Ross says. So my sister, in the meanwhile, has also filled all of the doctors' heads with bullshit, telling them that she is the only daughter and that nobody is to speak to me. So it took me a while to get them to actually call me back and speak to them, and I had to send them my ID to prove that I'm actually the elder daughter, and to explain the entire situation to them. So that is done. My father is going to be absolutely fine. They've treated him for TB. They've done surgery on his leg. He is now healing, which is great. However, I need to work off some rage, and at one stage I referred to my sister as a poisonous little toad, which she is. So, today we are drawing a poisonous little toad. Now, this toad is a raucous toad. That is what they're referred to. They are heavily invasive species. They are toxic to anything that tries to eat them, and all they actually do is make a fuck ton of noise. Remind you of anyone? So, yeah, my sister is a raucous toad. Now, this one, I thought of doing it in natural colours, but I think I want to have a bit of fun and do it in some crazy, crazy shades. It will have the lettering around it, but the lettering will be different to in my reference, so that I will be redrawing by hand. It's there as a placeholder. And so there you have it, the story of why my sister is a poisonous little toad and why I need to work off some rage. And all of this is actually quite, what's the word, auspicious, I think? Not quite the right word, but anyway. That I'm very glad that I will never need to actually speak to her by choice again. And I get to paint something fun out of all of this. If you missed the story, you may, after the stream's over, you can go and replay the first couple of minutes of the stream and you will get the whole story. So today we're doing the pencil, and then on Tuesday I will be adding colour to this and the lettering. And of course I chose a particularly warty toad. This toad definitely has her chin. Or lack thereof. So today the mouse birds are down the studio, which is why you don't hear them. Since the stream is sort of in the middle of the day, I thought that I would do the stream and then go back down to the studio and carry on working down there. I'm busy with, aside from this, a tarot card at the moment, the Seven of Pentacles, which I'm loving. The Seven of Pentacles is all about hard work coming to fruition and things going right at the end of difficult things going right at the end of difficult times, which is very much a theme that I'm needing to explore at the moment. And it is going, the card shows one of my absolute favorite bird types. Now I've got a personal connection to raucous toads too, and the other reason I chose them was when I was a kid, my mother decided that she wanted tadpoles for the garden, for the pond. We had a pond. So she duly went down to the river where there were lots of little froggies and all sorts of fun stuff, and caught a number of tadpoles. This was in very early years, before the wheels fell off. And duly transplanted tadpoles into our pond. Tadpoles grew up into what we originally thought were froggies and turned out to be raucous toads, which made life a screaming hell every summer for the rest of my childhood. Because once these things have chosen your home and they've grown up in a certain place, they never leave that place, and they will just make more babies and more babies, which will then also never leave. Which is very much like my sister's living arrangement of never leaving home. And in case you're wondering, I love tragicomedy, so I actually am finding this hilarious. So you are welcome to laugh at any terrible stories of my family. And that's what they're there for. be back in an instant. I'm hoping you can see properly with the shimmery light. What I'm actually going to do is turn the camera a bit. Just give me a sec. Loosen that. Since I do work at an angle. There we go. And let's put the mic there. That looks better. You can probably see a lot better now. Oh, this paper is such a relief after. So for the boomslang, I chose the paper that I chose because it was good for ink, forgetting that it's not good for pencil. So I actually really struggled with that work. That the paper just did not want to take the graphite, and every time I sort of turned around it would rub off. I had to completely redo the graphite after I'd inked. Where this, which is my more usual paper, the other one I also chose because it was the only paper I had in the correct size. This is fantastic. So I will take requests for what colour you think this toad should be. I'm thinking possibly some red and fuchsia in there, maybe some purple. Or maybe I should go for sort of an acid house chartreuse. I am going to be keeping as much as I can the her natural markings, which are really lovely and sort of spotty, like leopard spotty. I'll show you there's the colour. Definitely not brown, but I love those spots and stripes all over them. So Tom and I recently went on a beautiful, wonderful trip to McGregor in the Northern Cape. No, it's not Northern Cape, I don't think. Western Cape. It's not far. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours out of Cape Town. And We stayed at McGregor Backpackers, which I can heartily recommend 100,000%. Wonderful place. And he has a pond there, the owner, which was full of raucous toads. And when we arrived, it was evening and they'd all started quacking madly. And I immediately had this panic. I'm someone who struggles to get to sleep, particularly if there's a lot of noise. And earplugs just mean I wake up with a nasty headache in the morning. So we get there and there's all of these toads making a racket, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to be a miserable wreck. But strangely enough, the toads seemed to have listened, and they all shut up when it was bedtime. So I was very grateful for polite toads. Who would have thought? It was a wonderful stay and an amazing little weekend trip with the mousebirds, of course. We went for a close friend of Tom's Sangoma initiation ceremony, which was just beautiful. I'm really enjoying drawing all these warts. It's very satisfying. So, I'm not a cursing kind of witch. If I was, I probably would have definitely cursed her, but if you piss me off, I will immortalize you in ugly animal form. And then the whole internet can laugh at you, which I think's pretty good punishment. Oh yes, there's definitely going to be fuchsia in there. She had fuchsia hair for a while. As well as that particularly tacky, like box dye terracotta red. Oh yes, the colour scheme's starting to make sense now. So as usual, I have a B lead in my green clutch pencil and a 3B in my black one. This paper takes pencil so well, I haven't needed the 3B as yet. And I can erase without taking the paper with it. So you know what the scrunky noise is. Sharpen my pencil on sandpaper, I just find I can get a better sharper point that way than with a sharpener. Now, in general, I don't like to paint any creature, any animal as bad. Each animal has its place and its niche. I get very angry at people saying that snakes and spiders are bad, that whole kill them with fire or hit them with a spade or whatever. I'm really anti that. So there was a lot of thought put into whether I wanted to actually do this artwork and paint the raucous toad as bad. However, it is an invasive species. It has at points made my life significantly worse. And it's also going to be a fantasy version. I'm certainly not calling for people to go murder toads. but dropping a box of raucous toads on the doorstep of your least favourite person is a caring thing to do. Or even better, dropping a couple of tadpoles into a hidden water source near your least favourite person, which will ensure years of no sleep for that person. I think that's a pretty good revenge. However, ensure that that water source does not have any natural indigenous species. And is not near to anywhere that they could, any natural areas that they could invade and take over. So suburban garden ponds. Did you know that toads have biceps? I did not until like literally a minute ago. However, they do. Let's actually just clean that up a bit. Oh. It's so hot my glasses are actually sliding off my face. So I am racing against the clock. Got about 20 minutes left in order to get all the penciling done today. I don't remember where my reference came from. I get I have a huge stash of references that I've been collecting over years. Most of my references I get from an amazing Facebook group called Free Reference Photos for Artists, where any photographers, whether you're amateur or professional, can post your photos, any photos of any subject, in order for artists to be able to use them as reference in paintings. Other of my references are old Creative Commons photos. If you don't know about Creative Commons, just do a Google. It's stuff that is out of copyright. And occasionally I will use photos by photographers I know with their permission and always giving credit. If I see a photo that I love online, I will often write to the photographer and ask if they'd mind that I use it in an artwork, and if so, how they'd like to be credited. A lot of them say yes. Occasionally they say no, which is absolutely fine and their prerogative. And it's a great way of building up contacts. There we go. I think that's it. Within time, within phone battery. Yay. Oh. So, next week on Tuesday, we will ink this guy. I hope that you enjoyed this escape from reality for an hour, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye.